Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Can you guys believe that it is almost August? I don't know about where you guys live, but in Montana, August means that summer is almost already over. And I just don't feel like I've complained about the heat enough yet. So I'm a little bummed and hoping that it will continue into September, even maybe October. So this is my August plan with me video. For those of you who have been on my channel for a while and have seen some of my previous videos, you know that last month I did things really simple and basic, and I did a lot of talking about just getting back to the basics for myself and for my sanity because I felt like social media had kind of overruled my life. So for August, I did something a little bit more creative, but I still just kind of tried to keep with very simple stuff that like I knew I could do that wasn't going to be too extreme, and that if somebody else wanted to copy or follow along with it, they could. I did a poll on my Instagram for a few different themes, and I ended up choosing a kind of like a Kate Spade theme, but it kind of ended up being like Kate Spade, Betsy Johnson, and you can see here that I messed up on the first page, and that's okay. But I am feeling a lot better this month about my bullet journal. I'm back into it. I feel like I'm finally just, I don't know, back in the swing of things. And maybe it was just the wedding. Yes, I'm married now. That was getting to me. I don't know if it was the stress or what, but I do feel like I'm back in the swing. So I did want to do something different this month and creative, and I had so much fun with this spread. You're gonna see on the next page that I did a Dutch Door monthly, which I've never done. I've done a lot of Dutch Door weekly spreads, but I had never touched in the area of a Dutch Door monthly, and I'm pretty excited about it. It turned out really neat, and because the Nuna is such a big notebook in comparison to like the Leuchtturm or Scribbles That Matter, I really ended up liking how this looked in this notebook. So I don't know if you guys can see the pencil writing on these pages, but I do kind of blueprint out my monthly spreads in advance. And especially with this, because I did have to cut the page, I wanted to make sure that everything was going to be laid out properly. So I just I cut the page, one page in half, and then my monthly spread will technically span like 4 pages, but you're gonna see all of them pretty much at the same time. So the first half of the page is my calendar. I always have a calendar. I just need that visual to look at. I definitely prefer it over like a circular calendar or a linear calendar. The following pages are laid out very specific for me because I always have my goals for my monthly stuff, and then I always have my habit tracker right next to my goals, and I have a very specific reason for doing that, and that's because my habit tracker often coincides with what my goals are for the month. So I like to have those side by side so I can really look at my goals when my habit tracker is not being filled up the way it should, and just be able to say, oh, okay, like this is why I need to be doing this. This is what I'm working for. And so I just like to have those two things side by side. So that's part of the reason that I call it blueprinting out my monthly. And when I do this, what I do is I just write in like calendar, and then I write in habit tracker, and I might kind of draw in some of the lines of where the boxes will be, or pre-count out the boxes for the habit tracker and just kind of mark off where they start and where they begin. So those are the following pages that you'll see here, and then on the other side of the flipped page you'll see that I have a stats page, which I had last month, but it spanned 2 pages and it had so much information that it was overwhelming, and I wasn't using it to its fullest potential. So I ended up making it a lot smaller and just putting in the things that mattered the most to me. Okay, so here you're seeing my goals page or section, and so this is still part of the same page that the calendar is on. They aren't separate. This isn't a cut piece of paper. This is the same piece of paper. I just drew a line down the center because I wanted that symmetry of that folding throughout, almost like each piece was just a different section. So I have my goals section, and then below that I have weekly check-ins, which I haven't done in the past, but I think it's a good idea. And when I've done a lot of my personal development, A lot of coaches and people say that one of the biggest things you need to do with your goals is to obviously first write them down, and after that you have to be checking in with yourself to make sure that you are actually following along with what you're supposed to be doing to reach those goals. So I decided to go for that, and I'm going to do my check-ins every Sunday because that is when I make my next weekly spread. And I always have monthly goals, and then I also always have weekly goals. So I kind of break things down so that everything kind of builds up to my biggest goals in life. So I have weekly goals that are rather small. That might be something like writing 3 new blog posts or getting in 5 days of yoga. And then my monthly goal might be to increase my blog traffic by 5% or become more flexible. I don't know. Those might be monthly goals. And then obviously, like, my ultimate goals are even more broad than that. And those smaller things are just the steps. So if you haven't included goals into your bullet journal yet, I highly, highly suggest that you do it. It has worked wonders for me. I absolutely love it. It's probably one of my very favorite things about bullet journaling is setting my goals and then looking back and seeing why I did or didn't accomplish those goals. So that's pretty cool. So this is my habit tracker, and in previous monthly spreads I've done something very similar where I just draw very small icons to represent whatever habit I'm tracking, and that's what I did this month because my habit tracker is vertical and I didn't really want to write the words vertically. So instead I just drew these itty bitty teeny tiny icons, and in the Nuna it's even harder because the dot spacing is smaller. But if you want to do this, you can do this in like a Leuchtturm, and you can put your icons along the top, and then you can have a vertical habit tracker, and that makes it a lot easier. And I only did vertical lines on my habit tracker this time because, one, it takes a ton of time to make the grid. And this month, I think instead of trying to fill it in with little lines, I'm just going to try to add little pink dots to kind of go with my theme. So I'm going to be a little self-promotional here. I just got some very exciting news, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. And you will be the first to know because I won't announce it until the 26th of July on my Instagram or on my blog. But I have been invited to teach a workshop at the Pinners Conference in Utah this year. So I will be there. That is the 2nd and the 3rd, I believe. Of November. I suppose you need to know the month. So I will be teaching a class, and we will be starting to kind of set up our 2019 bullet journals, and I'm going to go over some of my favorite pages and some of the things that I think are the most beneficial to include, and then we will definitely dive into some very basic design elements and lettering and doodles and things like that in the class so that you can really spruce up your bullet journal in 2019. And I cannot wait. I am so excited. I will be selling a kit. So if you don't have a journal yet, or you want to buy one while you're there just to practice, that is awesome. I hope to see you guys there. And if you buy your tickets online, please use the code TPP. I will put it down in the description, along with the link to purchase the tickets. The tickets don't go on sale until the 26th of July, but after that, if you purchase them with my discount code TPP for the Petite Planner, you'll get 10% off, and it also helps me tremendously because if I can sell a certain number of tickets, I get to make some income off this. That is not why I'm doing it. I'm super excited to get to meet some people. So if you're in the Utah area, if you're in the Midwest, I would love to see you come out. There are going to be tons and tons of presenters and crafts and vendors and shops and all kinds of things. So it'll be a blast. But I want to talk about this page now. So this page, you can see that I am completely filling up with purse doodles, which I had to stop multiple times during making this to find new inspiration. But this page is like a catch-all for rating your day. So I called mine Fill Your Bag. You'll see that here in a little bit, but I'm going to color these in each day, and I'm not going to color in the whole thing. So I'm going to kind of fill them up. So I'm going to start at the bottom and color my way up based on my overall rating of my day. It gives me a little bit of perspective on what my day looked like. So this includes things like productivity, my health, my mood, and spending quality time with my kids. So I'll just kind of at the end of the day sum up my day in that way, and then I will start at the bottom and color up to fill in a portion of these purses. And hopefully the end goal is that most of them will be almost all the way filled in when it's all over. I am loving this page already, and I can't wait to start using it. And you could do this with any doodle you wanted to do. So you could do envelopes, you could do whatever theme you're going with, and you don't have to make them all different. And the other option is to get online and find some black and white images, and then you can print them out and cut them out and paste them into your journal if you aren't comfortable drawing 30 or 31 little doodles. That's a great idea too. I will warn you that this page took a lot of time between looking for inspiration and then drawing out each individual purse. It took a long time. This spread in total took roughly 2 hours from start to finish. And sometimes I feel like that needs to be clarified in YouTube videos because all of them are sped up, and so it can be a misconception and people think that you're like this crazy speed demon who can draw insanely fast, and I'm not. It takes me just as long, and I just kind of find the time. I wait until my youngest takes a nap to do mine, and obviously if you're not filming your setup, and probably people who even film their setup, you don't have to do it all in one, but I did want to clarify that this was a time-consuming spread. I am so happy with the turnout of it. I love it. I can't wait to look at it throughout August, but it does take a lot of time. So this final page is my stats page, which is majorly condensed from last month. And again, I'm just using little doodles to signify what I'm tracking. So the first one is my daily calories. I do count calories on and off. I like to because I seem to eat better when I actually count my calories, but I sometimes struggle with it. And then the next one is my sleep, so hours of sleep, and then my mood, and then finally the steps I took that day, which I use my Apple Watch. And I like to track these because things like sleep really do affect me. If I get too much, I am out of it and I'm not very productive, and if I get too little, then I'm not very productive. So I have like a happy medium, most people do. Mine's about 6 hours. To fill this in, I will use numbers to fill in the calories and the steps, and then I will just be using like a meter almost to do the sleep and the mood. So if I get a lot of sleep, I will fill up the bar completely, and if I don't, it'll be pretty short, and then same with my mood. So if it's really bad, the bar will be very short, and if it's good, it'll be a lot bigger and more closer to where like the steps start, if that makes sense. And then down here I just kind of recreated what I had in the upper left hand corner of the calendar page, and that was just to kind of give it that symmetry look. These flowers are from a Google image search that I did for, I think I searched Kate Spade or Betsy Johnson, and these were some of the flowers that popped up with a quote. So these flowers are super simple to create. I just start in pencil and I draw out an oval, and then I use pen, but you could definitely continue on with pencil, and I create 2 petals within the oval, so like along the bottom, and then they wrap down almost with a V, and then I fill in the center of it with little squiggle lines, and then the outer petals are like elongated hearts. So they were really simple and really fun, and then I just colored them in with my Tombows, and I ended up absolutely loving the way these turned out. So this is the completed spread. It's not very big, it only spans that little area, but I'm really happy with it. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for your support and continuing to watch my videos. My Back to the Basics series will be back very soon, and if you really like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys next time.